Yo, what's up guys? Teacher Paul here, and today we have a coffee request. If you want to request a video, click over here or go on to buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. And today we have a coffee request for Iceland. This is so cool. This was requested by Kari. So thank you so much, Kari. And Kari says, this is a super quick overview of Iceland's history. According to the comments, it is pretty much spot on. It can be mentioned that Irish monks were said to have been the first to settle in Iceland. Wow, interesting. Ireland settled in Iceland. And maybe maybe you can get that mixed up with just because of one letter. Ireland, Iceland. So Irish monks were the first to settle in Iceland. Interesting. But they have disappeared when the Norwegians arrived there. Okay. So shout out to everyone from Iceland. If you want to request a video like Kari, go over to Buy Me a Coffee, request videos. This is my Nordic channel, everything Nordic. So if you want to request it, feel free to show me more about your country. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. This is a video from the channel Mr. History. Go check it out. Link is in the description. Let's check it out.
Hello everyone and welcome to
Nice. Kind of reminds me of the history of the world. Have you seen that video?
This is Europe, and here's Iceland. Now let's go, shall we? For a long, long time, no one lived in Iceland at all, except for foxes, walruses, and cheerful-faced puffins and so on. Then, one day in the year 874, a Norwegian Viking called Ingólfur Arnarson sailed over and became the first permanent settler of the island. Hundreds of others followed with their families and their Scottish and Irish slaves. They farmed and worshipped the Norse gods like Chris Hemsworth, Thor, and the great Iceland-born explorer Leif Erikson sailed to America centuries before Columbus. Iceland did not become a kingdom, but was rather governed by a number of chieftains who would pass laws and administer justice in councils. The main assembly met annually and was called the Alþingi. Is called, I should say, as it still exists as Iceland's parliament, the oldest ongoing parliament in the world. It was the Alþingi that decided around the year 1000 to
Wait, is this an actual letter in the Alþingi? So that it kind of looks like a B with a tail, or a P with a punk haircut. That's a th sound, right? Alþingi. So yeah, interesting. I didn't know that was an actual letter. Interesting.
The Alþingi is called, I should say, as it still exists as Iceland's parliament, the oldest ongoing parliament in the world. It was the Alþingi that decided, around the year 1000, to adopt Christianity after missionaries sent over from Norway had preached the gospel. Accompanying the cross was the pen, and Icelanders began to write and later composed those wondrous works like Njörl Saga, full of battles, feuds, and vengeance, and the Prose Edda, attributed to Snorri Sturluson, which preserved a lot of the marvelous Norse myths for us. Meanwhile, Iceland's chieftains were warring with each other and only stopped after agreeing to Norwegian rule in the 1260s, which they hoped would bring peace. So Iceland's independence was lost, but it still retained quite a bit of autonomy, including its own code of laws. Iceland built up a notable fishing industry, but the island's geography was worsening. The once abundant birch forests had been cut down, leaving the denuded landscapes we see today. Treeless with spreading soil erosion, Iceland next experienced two bitter bouts of plague that wiped out over half the population in the 1400s. The 1500s found Denmark, which had joined Norway to itself and was now in charge, pushing Lutheranism into Catholic Iceland, a venture that eventually succeeded, thanks to a bit of bloodshed. Denmark throttled Iceland's fishing trade. Barbary pirates raided the coasts, taking Icelanders back to North Africa as slaves. An outbreak of smallpox killed a huge portion of the populace, and many others perished of starvation following the ruinous eruption of the volcanic fissure Laki in 1783. Doesn't sound very lucky to me. By the 1800s, Iceland, destitute and depressed from centuries of foreign rule, began contemplating independence, a project championed by Jón Sigurðsson. The goal wasn't achieved, but Iceland did gain concessions in self-governance, which was a step in the right direction. After gaining home...
Wait, let's go back to this letter over here as well. It looks like a D with a, with a cross in it. That's the sound when you want to kind of like show a pronunciation like in phonetics. That's a the sound. So I want to hear how he says it.
Championed by Jón Sigurðsson. The goal was
He said Sigurdsson. There's no the there. Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson.
Wasn't achieved, but Iceland did gain concessions in self-governance, which was a
Reykjavik.
step in the right direction. After gaining home rule in 1904, Iceland took big strides towards betterment. Modernity marched in, education increased, women gained more rights, things were looking well. It seemed all Iceland had needed was a bit of freedom. It achieved full independence at long last in 1944, and Sveinn Björnsson became first president. You'd think he'd be a bit happier. Come on, Sveinn, give us a smile. That's better. Iceland's fisheries flourished, and the country made good use of United States Marshall Plan assistance. And in
I don't know why, but I love these colored houses. These are so like Nordic. I love these colored houses. And by the way, I just wanted to say one thing, guys. This right here, it's very interesting because Iceland looks very green. And then when you look at Greenland, it looks very icy. Have you noticed that? Greenland looks very icy while Iceland looks very green. I mean, how does that work? And how's the economy today of Iceland? Is it thriving? I think Norway is the biggest economy in the Nordic countries, right? Or is that Sweden? Not sure, but how's Iceland doing? It's a small country as well, right? But let's see, maybe they say it in this video.
And in 1955, Icelandic writer Halldór Laxness won the Nobel Prize in Literature. There was also a time of regional aquatic conflict with the UK in what's called the Cod Wars, all of which Iceland won, maintaining and expanding its fishing zones. As the years passed, Iceland's prosperity intensified until 2008, when financial crisis struck and hit the country very hard. So hard it even forced the country's 3 McDonald's restaurants to close down. But
it had only 3 McDonald's? Wow. And this is the crisis that we were looking at the other day, where the Danish comedians were talking about the loan, singing about the loan. So that hit not only Denmark, but it hit the whole of... Was it the whole world, or was it just the whole of Europe?
Country very hard. So hard it even forced the country's 3 McDonald's restaurants to close down. But the Icelanders preferred the burgers at Hamborgarabolen anyway, which is a much catchier name. The economy began to recover under Prime Minister Jóhanna Sigurðardóttir. Iceland today may as well be called Niceland, not only possessing a very high level of human development, but also the honor of being the safest country in the world to live in, with very few social problems and an exceedingly small amount of crime. You probably wouldn't want to mess with an Icelander though, as the country has won an astonishing 9 titles in the world's strongest man competition.
No way. This is Thor, isn't his name Thor? This guy, man, this guy, wasn't he in Game of Thrones? Or was it someone else? But I've seen him so many times, man. This guy, the mountain. Yeah, told you he was in Game of Thrones. That is so cool. And he's from Iceland. I didn't know that. That is so cool. Man, that is so cool.
Astonishing 9 titles in the world's strongest man competition, second only to the United States, which has over 300 million more people than it. So that's it for Iceland, and that's all from me for now. Bye-bye!
Mr. History, good video, good video. Go check out his channel. That was really nice. That's pretty cool. Here we are doing everything Nordic, so if you want to request a video from Iceland, feel free to do so through Buy Me Coffee. It would be nice to see some of your stuff. I think his name is Thor, isn't it? Something Thor. Do you guys know? Let me see. Iceland Strongman. We call him Thor Bjornsson. How is he known? Thor, yeah, he's known as Thor. Guys, I know. I know a little bit about strongmen. Yeah, a little bit, not a lot. So Brian, like, I know Brian Shaw, and I've seen a few vlogs with the world's strongest man. What's his name again? What's his name again? Strongest man. Eddie Hall. I was going to say Andy. Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, they're always, bickering. And I think Thor attempted the 501 kilogram, half a ton, right? I think it was something like that. You guys know anything about that, chat? Iceland was really struggling a while back, but I think they're doing much better these days. Oh, wow. So Iceland doesn't have a very strong economy? Are you saying that? In comparison to the other Nordic countries, is that it? Straight to the point. Iceland is like a fairy tale country. Yeah, we saw a few images of Iceland. Unfortunately, that video got blocked. Yeah. I guess their biggest problem is the danger of inbreeding. So they pay close attention to who they can have children with. What is the population of Iceland? Iceland population. Wow, 400K. So you definitely know each other. Like a lot of people know each other, right? So shout out to Iceland. So you're telling me if this video gets 400,000 views, that's more than the population of Iceland? I don't think it will, but I'm just saying, dang, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And you guys still have one of the strongest men, or, you know, is he the strongest man right now? Not sure. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. And let me know in the comments what Iceland is known for. And don't forget to like, subscribe. I reacted to Iceland with the movie, the song Husavik also. Go check that out. I have an Iceland. Do I have an Iceland? Yeah, I do. I have an Iceland playlist. So we need more videos there. So request a video, click over here or go over here to see my Iceland playlist. Take care now. Bye-bye.